So I am here today with Kristin La Flamme. I'm so excited about this topic. I want to feature things on this YouTube channel that are current issues, current topics. And you know that if I come across something that is upcycling, recycling, if it has anything to do with memories like firefighters or military and things like that, you're hitting me in the heartstrings. So Kristin, I want to talk to you today about your new book. But first of all, let's just start off with a little intro. Can you introduce yourself?
My name's Kristin La Flamme. My little tagline on Instagram is I'm an artist who likes to sew. And when I sew, I come from a art and graphic design background, so I'm totally immersed in the art quilt world. I love using repurposed, upcycled materials mixed in with commercial prints, things like that. And so I wrote this book about making memory quilts, and it's got stories and patterns that I think are flexible enough that people can use a wide variety of source materials, their sentimental fabrics, whether it's t-shirts, dress shirts, military uniforms, which is where I started this with my husband. My husband is a military officer for 20 years. So
Yeah.
lots and lots of military uniforms to use and figure out fun ways to incorporate them.
Yeah, me too. When I finished my career as a firefighter, I had a closet full of 15 years of uniforms, and I had no idea what I was going to do with them. And I ended up when we moved across Canada, I made a quilt for my husband of his uniforms because he loved the job he was leaving, and he was going to be alone for 3 months without us before we moved. So it was nice for him to have that quilt with the minky on the back and all his shirts in there from
Right.
work. So anyway, I love this topic, obviously. So let's
Yeah.
dive into the book a little bit further. So show us the cover of the book and remind us of
Here's
the
the
title
cover.
again. Quilt
Quilt
Your
Your
Story. Okay.
and it's by Landauer Publishing, and it's available on Amazon. You can ask your local quilt shop to carry it. And I even have, there's a firefighter story in here. Ralph gave me, he's a firefighter of many, many years. And there we go.
Aw.
And he gave me his t-shirts that were related to first responders in 9/11. He had friends that were in New York, and he went to New York to help out. But also he was in charge, he was part of the hotshot team that unfortunately lost their lives at the Granite Peak fire in Arizona. So super meaningful shirts. And so I made his quilt and a little bit about his story. And now the quilt, he got a brand new office, and now the quilt hangs right behind him
Oh,
and is
that
his
is so
Zoom
nice.
background.
Oh, what a heartwarming story. And, beyond the great story, the design is wonderful there. You've done a great job, not just sort of putting a mishmash of t-shirts together. You have added the element of color, and it really works well throughout the quilt. So you've done a great job there. So that's inspiring for people to put things together in a way that's beautiful.
All the patterns, they're flexible. They also have like accent fabric or a couple of accent fabrics that pull everything together. So the introduction in the book talks a lot about color and organizing your collection of fabrics. Right here is the same quilt, but done with plaid flannels and different accent colors. And this one, it was for my nephew, and it has national park patches on it too. So
Yeah,
lots of fun ways to use your sentimental fabrics. And I'm hoping that the stories that go with each pattern will inspire people to see, their story in it, that it doesn't necessarily have to be someone who's passed away. It could be celebrating a hobby or an event. Could be a baby, could be someone who's passed away. Lots and lots of options and stories to help you find your story.
yeah, it could be someone who's run their first 5K or whatever, and they're saving all the
That's
t-shirts from all the whatever. That
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great idea. Can you show us? It's not only large quilts in this book too, right? So show us the table runner.
Okay, this one's my favorite. This is a table runner. I call it Crooked Path. And so this one uses shirts, like First Job and Comfy Shirt and a yukata from a exchange student, all organized kind of by color with the green as that accent. And what I love about this is that it's fun. It looks like an improv project, but it's really pretty straightforward and easy. And so I'm teaching it as a 1-day workshop for a guild up in Washington State in October. I've done a test class. I think I can see it being the one that I can bring to other groups.
Yeah.
Also, it's what I based my QuiltCon quilt on.
Yeah, and we're going to
So
talk
I
about
took
that
that.
in a minute. When we get over
Yeah.
to your Instagram
All
feed, we're going
right.
to talk about that in a minute because that's an absolutely fabulous quilt.
Yeah.
One important thing I want to mention is that if you want to buy the book, you can get it on Amazon. You can ask
Yep.
your local quilt shop for it because they can always bring it in. It's at all the big distributors.
Yep.
And of course, if they bring you into their guild to teach or speak or something like that, of course, you'll bring books with you there as well, right? So where are you
Absolutely. Yep.
located in the world in case people want to get in touch with you through Instagram?
Yeah, I'm in Portland, Oregon, and I'm willing to go a 1-day drive away. um, so I've lectured at a guild here in Portland. Like I said, I'm going up to Washington State in October. I have a day job, so things have to be worked around that.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
I'm going to hop over to your Instagram right now. I'm looking at it while we're chatting. And so let's talk a little bit about some of the things on your Instagram page. So scrolling through, I see some wonderful things. You're into all kinds of knitting and things like that, but you have this really cool jacket on there. So let's talk about what is really your jam. You do all kinds of things, not just quilting. So what is your jam when it comes to your creative life?
I am multi-craftual. So and I'm into the, oh, what if? What would happen if I did this? I love quilting. I love traditional. I like to say that I am rooted in traditional quilting, but I'm not bound by it. I am willing to try anything and everything. So my jam for quite a while has been, incorporating repurposed materials. I'm a storyteller. I love the stories that the fabric brings, whether that's my husband's old uniforms or pieces that people have given to me. This quilt behind me, these are some Dresden plate blocks that a friend just gave to me and said, I don't know what I'm going to do with them. So I took them and then incorporated them into a quilt. I don't think anything's terribly precious, so I had some art quilts, which I over-dyed and cut up to make a jacket, a quilted coat,
Wow.
which was actually featured in Somerset Studio magazine
Nice.
a year or so ago, maybe 2 years now. And then I found that I couldn't style it well, so I cut it up again. And now I'm making a denim jacket style jacket out of it.
Oh, that's a lot of fun. Okay, so we don't
Yeah.
want to end this conversation without talking about your QuiltCon quilt. So tell us what it's called and tell us the story about it.
It's called Crooked Path. You know what? I messed up. This is Pathways.
Oh, Patrick. Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Crooked Path is based on the table runner and the pattern in the book.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I took this basic block and just made a whole bunch more of them. I used my husband's military uniforms covering his 20-year career. My accent color was all the red in my stash, or a bunch of the red in my stash. And so it's a story about you don't never know where military life is going to take you. I was super excited that it got into QuiltCon. I've tried many years, and this was the first time that something got in. And I'm even more excited that it is inspired by the pattern in my book. So nice tie-in. People can hopefully find me and the book through it.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and it's at Sisters Quilt Show this weekend.
Oh, congratulations. That is a huge win to have your quilt in QuiltCon. Just a small percentage of the quilts that are entered get in, so that's a big deal.
Yeah,
And
huge.
I really encourage people to go and check out your Instagram page. So let's just remind them, where can they find you on Instagram?
I'm at Kristin La Flamme. So the hardest part is spelling Kristin and La Flamme correctly. Two I's in Kristin and two M's in La Flamme.
Okay, so it's Kristin, and La Flamme is Laflamme. Okay,
Yep,
so head on over to
yep,
Instagram and check her out. You'll see that gorgeous coat she talked about, and that she cut it up and repurposed it for another jacket, right? And
yep,
you'll
yep.
also be able to see the Fire Department New York quilt on there and the quilt that was in QuiltCon. So let's just talk one more time about the name of your book and remind everybody where they can get it.
Quilt Your Story, available on Instagram and hopefully at your local quilt or sewing shop. Maybe Barnes and Noble. I haven't actually gone over to check and see it in the wild. And then if you invite me to your guild or DM me through Instagram, we can. I've got some too.
Yeah, and so when you say Instagram, you mean they can message you and ask you where they can get it, but it's Amazon, right? Where they can get it as well?
Amazon's the easiest, and I'm totally cool with you buying from Amazon just because it helps the algorithm.
Yeah, true.
But I also encourage local quilt shops to carry it. I work at a sewing center, and I can't tell you how many times people come in asking for guidance on making memory quilts.
Yeah.
And so this is a super wonderful resource that is a little step further, more varied than just your typical grids, but very approachable. And like I said, very flexible. So it doesn't matter what you have as your source materials. I'm sure there's something in here that you can apply it to.
So true. Well, Kristin, I've loved having you on my YouTube channel. I think that your heart is in the right place with your purpose-driven quilts. Your book gives people the opportunity to take fabrics that are really meaningful to them and bring them into a project. So thank you for sharing your story with us a little bit here today about your book. And it was so nice to chat with you today.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is great talking.
Okay, take care. Bye,
Yeah.
everybody.